evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the very first and hopefully the last lockdown Burns night. This is very much the rail replacement bus service of the Burns supper world. And now there are usually two drunken Burns suppers in Bewley alone, famously, or should I say infamously, at the British Legion and Bewley Shinty Club. And there are hundreds of organised suppers across Scotland, thousands worldwide. And this might be the first and only DIY Burns supper ever. Your very own B&Q of the Bard. There will be more ingredients in this show than in your Coburn's Haggis. As usual, you'll need drams for 3 toasts and a sharp knife for your haggis or for your husband, and you won't need a taxi home. So at least the bobbies get a rest tonight. So get your haggis, your neeps, your tatties at the ready, and don't forget the wee dram too. And sit back, relax, and let us guide you through the DIY Burns supper.
Some who meet and canna eat, and some who nane that want it, but we who meet and we can eat. So let the Lord thank it.
Good evening. This is a song by Robert Burns called John Anderson, My Jo. It's for a female, and it's about a couple going through life together. They're nearing the end of their time, and she's reminiscing how they've gone through life hand in hand. John Anderson, my Jo, John, when we were first acquaint, your looks were like the raven, your bonny brow was brand, but now your brow is bald, John, your looks are like the snow, but blessings on your frosty bow. John Anderson, my Jo, John Anderson, my Jo, John, we climb the hills together, and mony's the candy day, John, we hide away another, but we must totter doon, John, and hand in hand we'll go, and sleep together at the foot. John Anderson, my Jo. Thank you.
Fair for your honest, sonsy face, great chieftain of the puddin' race, abune them all, ye tak your place, Penge, tripe, or therum, weel are ye worthy o' a grace, as lang as my earm. The groaning trencher there ye fill, your hardies like a distant hill, your pin would help to mend a mill in time of need, whilst through your pores the dews distill like amber bead. His knife, see rustic labour dicht, and cut ye up wi' ready slicht, trenching your gushing entrails brecht like ony ditch, and then, oh, what a glorious sicht, warm, reeking, rich. Then horn for horn we stretch and strive, deal tack behind me, stone they drive, till all their wheel-swallowed kites belive, are bent like drums. Then Auld good man, best like to rive, bethink it hums. Is there that our his French ragout, or olio that would stow a sou, or fricassee would mark her spew with perfect scunner, looks down with sneering, scornful view on sick a dinner? Poor devil, see him o'er his trash, that's feckless as a withered rash, his spindle shank a gid whiplash, his knee a knit, through bloody flood or field to dash. Oh, how unfit. But mark the rustic, Haggis fed, the trembling earth resounds his tread. Clapping his wally knee a blade, he'll make it whistle, and legs and arms and heads will sned like taps o' thistle. Ye powers wha mak mankind your care, and dish them out their bill of fare, Old Scotland wants nae skinking ware that jops and luggies. But if you wish her grateful prayer, gie her a haggis.
Jenny's over for body, Jenny's seldom dry. She dangled her petticoat coming through the rye. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. She dangled her petticoat coming through the rye. Gonna body meet a body coming through the rye. Gonna body kiss a body, need a body cry. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. She dangled her petticoat coming through the rye. When a body meet a body coming through the glen. When a body kiss a body, meet the wild ken. Coming through the rye, poor body coming through the rye. She dangled her petticoat coming through the rye. Jenny is a wet poor body, Jenny seldom dry. She dangled her petticoat coming through the rye. Coming through the rye, poor body, coming through the rye. She dangled her petticoat coming through the rye.
When Chapman Billies leave the street, and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late, and folk begin to tack the gate, as we sit boozing at the nappy, and getting full and hunka happy, we think nae on the long Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. This truth found honest Thomas Shanter, as he for eer a nicht did canter, all eer where near a tune surpasses, for honest men and bonny lasses. Ah, Tom, had thou but been sae wise, and ta'en thy own wife Kate's advice, she tell't a wheel thou was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum, that fae November till October, yea market night, thou wasna sober, that ilke melder with a miller, thou sat as long as thou hadst siller, that every nag was ca'd a shoe on, the smith and thee got roaring fou on, that at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank wi' Kirkton Jean till Monday. She prophesied that later soon thou would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the mirk by Alloway's all haunted kirk. Ah, gentle dames, it gars me greet to think how mony counsels sweet, how mony lengthened sage advices the husband who the wife despises. But to our tale. Ye market night, Tom got planted anchor right, fast by an angle bleezing finely, wi' reaming swats that drank divinely, and at his elbow Suitor Johnny, his ancient, trusty, drouthy crony. Tom looed him like a very brother. They had been fou for weeks together. The night drave on wi' songs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tom grew gracious, wi' favours secret, sweet and precious. The suitor tell't his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rare and rustle, Tom didnae mind the storm a whistle. Care, mad to see a man sae happy, e'en droon himsel among the nappy, as bees flee hame wi' lades of treasure. The minutes winged their way wi' pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tom was glorious, for a' the ills of life victorious. But pleasures are like poppies spread. You seize the flower, the bloom is shed, or like the snowfall in the river, a moment white, then melt forever ever. Or like the borealis race, that flits ere you can point its place, or like the rainbow's lovely form, it vanished amid the storm. Nae man can tether time nor tide. The hour approaches, Tom mun ride. That hour o' night's black arch the keystone, that dreary hour he mounts his beastin', and sic a night he taks the road in, as ne'er poor sinner was abroad in. The wind blew 'twould blaw its last, the rattling showers rose in the blast, the speedy gleams the darkness swallowed. Loud, deep and long the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand. The deil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tom skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his ged blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some auld Scots sonnet, whilst glowering round wi' prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Cargalloway was drawing nigh, where ghosts and howlets nightly cry. By this time he was across the ford, where in the snaw the chapman smoored, and past the birks and meikle stane, where drunken Charlie brak's neck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters found the murdered bairn, and near the thorn a been the well, where Mungo's mither hanged hersel. Before him, Doon pours all his floods. A doubling storm roars through the woods, The lightnings flash from pole to pole. Near and more near the thunders roll. When, glimmering through the groaning trees, Cargalloway seemed in a blaze. Through ilka bore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou can mak us scorn. Wi' tuppenny, we'll fear nae evil. Wi' Ushka Bay, we'll face the devil. The swats say round in Tommy's noodle. Fair play, he cared nae deals a boodle. But Maggie stood recht sair astonished, till by the hand and heel admonished, she ventured forward on the light, and whoa, Tom saw an unca sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae could tell it brand new fae France, but hornpipes, jigs, their spaes and reels, but life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat Auld Nick, in shape of beast, a dowsy tyke, black, grim and large. To gie the music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gart them skirl, till roof and rafters did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses, that showed the dead in their last dresses, and, by some devilish contrived sleight, each in his caul hand held a light, by which heroic Tom was able to note upon the haly table a murderer's banes and gibbet urns, twa-span long, wee and christened bairns, a thief new cut for a rape, where his last gasp his gub did gape. 5 tomahawks with blood red rusted, 5 scimitars with murder crusted, a garter a baby strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled, from by his ain son, a life bereft. The grey hairs yet stuck to the heft. We mair horrible and awful, that even to name would be unlawful. 3 lawyers' tongues turned inside out, wi' lies seemed like a beggar's clout. 3 priests' hearts rotten black as muck lay stinking vile in every nuke. As Tommy glowered amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew, the reel to set across the cleeket, to lowke, carl and swat and reek it, and cast her duddies to the wark and link it at it in her sark. Ah, Tom, a they been quines, plump and strapping in their teens. Their sarks, instead of creasy flannin, been snaw white 17-hander linen. Their breeks o' mine my only pair, a ance was plash o' get blue hair. I would have gied them off my hardies, for ye blink o' the bonny birdies. That weathered, bale dams all and droll, Ringwoody hags would spin a foal, loping and flinging on a crummock. I wonder didn't it turn my stomach? But Tom kent what was what fu brawly. It was a winsome wench and Wally. That night enlisted in the corps, long after Kent and Carrick shore. For mony's a beast to dead she shot, and perished mony's a bonny boat, and shook both meikle corn and beer, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark a paisley harren, that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude, though sorely scanty, it was her best, and she was vaunty. Aye, little Kent, thy reverent granny, that sark she coft for her wee nanny. With £12 Scots, 'twas a' her riches, would ever graced a dance o' witches. But here, my muse, her wing maun cour, such flights are far beyond our power. To sing o' Nanny Lappin flung, a supple jade she was, and strong. And how Tom stood like ane bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged too fain, and hotched and blew wi' might and main, till first ye keeper Syne another. Tom tint his reason together, and roars out, "Weel done, Cuddy Sark!" And in an instant all was dark. And scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legion sallied. As bees buzz out wi' angry fyke, when plundering herds assail their byke. As open pussy's mortal foes, when pop she starts before their nose. As eager runs the market crowd, when "Catch the thief!" resounds aloud. So Maggie runs, the witches follow, when mony's an eldritch screech and hollow. Oh, Tam, Tam, you'll get thy faring, in hell will roast thee like a herring. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the keystone o' the brig. There at them, though thy tail may toss, a running stream thou darena cross. But ere the keystone she could mak, the fainter tail she had to shack. For Nanny, far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little was she Maggie's mettle. Ye spring brought off her master hale, but left behind her ain grey tail. The garland clocked her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now, while this tale of truth may read, ilke man and mother's son, tak heed. Whenever to drink you are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind, think, ye may buy the joys o'er dear. Remember Thomas Shanter's mare.
When I was asked to propose the toast to Lassies, I was surprised and honoured. I was surprised because, as my accent gives away, I am English and not Scottish. And tonight is one of the most important evenings in the Scottish calendar. And to have an Englishman speaking is rare. And there is no Scottish in me at all. And of course there never has been. Well, apart from a recent prostate examination in Dingwall surgery, but that's a story for another time. And I am honoured to propose this particular toast because the toast to the Lassies is one of the most important toasts of the evening, if not the most important. Also, I have been constantly reminded by all the ladies present. Now, when I sat down to write this speech, I couldn't help thinking about how different lads and lassies really are. I mean, not just in all those interesting and rather obvious ways. Take personal grooming, for instance. When the average bachelor bathroom contains 6 items: a toothbrush with rather too few bristles, a tube of toothpaste, squeezed from the middle, naturally, a razor, some shaving cream, a grimy bit of soap, and an old grey towel. The Lassies, 497 items on average, 492 of which the average man cannot even name, let alone guess what they're used for. Then there's the look. Every man here knows what I mean, but just imagine the one that was waiting for Shanter on that fateful night. Here's our hero on his way home, admittedly stopping off at the pub first, as you do. While he's being chased over hill and dale by a bunch of deranged witches and the devil himself, what's his missus up to? Kate's just sitting there, gathering her brows like gathering storm, nursing her wrath to keep it warm. You can almost see that foot tapping, can't you? It's not as if Tam got a bit too merry and forgot to take Coronation Street, is it? Now that, I am reliably informed, is a sin. Now, my dumbfoundedness is not a recent thing. Since a very early age, I've been scratching my head and trying to work out why we are so different. All to no avail. If anyone could explain the following to me, I would be indebted very much. Firstly, why do women always need to go to the lavatory in pairs? Is there a secret bar in there operating a two-person lane priority system? And why do women spend 3 hours going to different shops only to return to the very first shop they saw the perfect item in? And lastly, why do you ladies always decline a dessert only to eye up ours and then proclaim, "Oh, maybe I'll just have a little bit of yours," before devouring it all? I'm sure I'll never work it out. Unlike me, however, Robert Burns knew a thing or two about women. In a period of just 11 years, he is known to have fathered at least 13 children by at least 5 different women, and all without the help of Tinder. Granted, he was a Scot, and they are known for their way with women, but it was quick work indeed for any man. And by all accounts, the women were lookers, going by names such as Handsome Nell and Anna with the golden locks. Burns could not have attained the status he had for so long were it not for the fact that he was surrounded by remarkable women. They raised him from the man he was to be the iconic Scotsman whose poems have rung down the ages. He held them very dear to his heart and looked at them as a source of comfort, a source of inspiration and a source of strength. So on that note, I would like you to raise your glasses to those mysterious creatures that we cannot survive without. I give you the Lassies, and let's hope their reply is kind.
Hi. This song is probably one of Burns's most famous songs. He wrote it in a letter to Nancy in late 1700s, and it's a lovely song to sing. Please join in. If one kiss and then we sever, if we and then forever, deep in heart-wrung tears I'll pledge thee, war and sighs and groans I'll wage thee. I'll ne blame my partial fancy, nothing good to resist my Nancy, for to see her was to love her, thine be ilka joy and treasure, peace, enjoyment, and love and pleasure. If one kiss and then we sever, ever will and then forever. Deep in the heart run tears of pledge warm sighs and groans I'll wage if one kiss and then we sever. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for your interesting toast to the Lassies. Having been brought up in Ayrshire, just about 5 miles from Westgill Farm, where Burns grew up, I feel particularly pleased to be giving the reply. Now, to paying tribute to the men in our lives. Well, perhaps tribute isn't quite the right word. I'm actually going to do something which I believe is quite unprecedented at a Burns supper. Yes, I'm going to quote from another poet, and a female one at that. A more modern day poet, but one who's looked on with great affection. Yes, indeed, it's Pamela's. I can't do the accent, but the words speak to women everywhere. And the poem is entitled, "You Should Have Asked My Husband." You know the world is complicated, imperfect, and pressed. And it's hard not to feel timid, apprehensive, and oppressed. It seems that all around us, tides of questions ebb and flow. And people want solutions, but they don't know where to go. Opinions abound about who's wrong and who's right. People need a prophet, a diffuser of the light. Someone they can turn to as the crises rage and swirl. Someone with the remedy, the wisdom, and the pearl. Well, they should have asked my husband. He can sort out any mess. He can rejuvenate the railways, he can sort the NHS. So any little niggle, anything you want to know, just run it past my husband. Wind him up and let him go. Congestion on the motorways, free holidays for thugs, the damage to the ozone layer, refugees and drugs. These may defeat the brain of any politician bloke, but present it to my husband, and he'll solve it at a stroke. Now, when it comes to tolerance, he hasn't got a lot. Joyriders should be guillotined, muggers should be shot. The sound of his own voice becomes like music to his ears. And he hasn't got an inkling that he's boring us to tears. My friends don't call so often. They've busy lives, I know. And it's not every day you want to hear a windbag suck and blow. Encyclopedias? And then we never have to call. Why clutter up the bookshelves when my husband knows it all? Well, that seems to cover the things that they know. But I'd like to mention one thing that they really don't know, and that's multitasking. That's right. You know, I once had to explain to my brother that cutting your toenails and watching TV at the same time just don't qualify for that category. Still, I think most of us would happily say the sweetest hours that here I spent among the lads. So please, lassies, will you join me in a toast? Here's to them, was like them, the laddies.
Mary, at thy window be, it is the wished, the trysted hour. Those smiles and glances let me see, that mak the miser's treasure poor. How blithely would I bide the store, a weary slave frae sun to sun, could I the rich reward secure, the lovely Mary Morrison. Yestreen, when to the trembling string the dance gaed through the lichted hall, to thee my fancy took its wing. I sat, but neither heard nor saw. Though this was fair, and that was braw, and yon the toast of all the tune, I sighed, and said among them all, Ye arena Mary Morrison. O Mary, canst thou wreck his peace? Wha for thy sake would gladly die? Or canst thou break that heart of his, was only fought is loving thee? If love for love thou wilt not gie, at least be pity to me shown. A thocht and gentle can it be, the thocht o Mary Morrison.
The Immortal Memory of Robert Burns. The phrase rings strong and true throughout the world, and yet it speaks direct to each individual. At this time of the year, people of all faiths, creed, colour and nation pause to consider the works and the life of the son of a Ayrshire farmer, a very special farmer. He gave his son the greatest gift of his time, education. And no matter what trials and tribulations the Burns family went through, and they were great in number, from poverty to pestilence, the farmer strived at all times to ensure that his family received this education. Robert, from an early age, learned to love words, and he realised that a poem, a song, or a rhyming couplet has the capacity to release hidden thoughts and to touch the soul. The greatest gift in our inheritance from Burns, Scott, Macaulay, and all the poets up to the present day is the right to think and say what we feel in our hearts. Never listen to the derogatory remarks about Burns. Read the poetry, hear the songs. It is there that he touches our soul. His star remains in the ascendancy. He is without doubt the most read and popular poet of all time. In closing, a poem which, in my heart, tells me of the attitude of Burns to women. But there's no doubt he held them in high regard, and he loved them in the widest sense of the word, and he admired them greatly. The final stanza of this poem proves just that. The poem is, O wert thou in the cold blast? O wert thou in the cold blast? On yonder lea, my prided to the angry air, I'd shelter thee, I'd shelter thee. Or did misfortune's bitter storms around thee blow, thy beard should be my bosom, to share it all, to share it all. Or were I in the wildest waste, say black and bare, say black and bare, the desert were a paradise. If thou wert there, if thou wert there. Or were I monarch of the globe, with thee to reign, with thee to reign, the brightest jewel in my crown would be my queen, would be my queen. As we raise a glass in this unusual year, let us remember the caring, the sharing and the loving we have all given to everyone. Let us ensure it continues in the years ahead. One thing is certain, the earth will turn, the sun will rise, and the poets will write. Charge your glasses, which I don't have a glass at the moment. Oh dear, sorry. Charge your glasses. The toast is to all the poets of the world and their immortal memory, and also a glass for those who have left us in the past months. We shall see them again. When shall we three meet again? Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Remember thee, I, whilst memory holds a goblet in this fair land. Friends, to the immortal memory of Robert Burns, an Ayrshire laddie.
Great, thanks. That's brilliant. Yeah.
Do we want to do the bit with the glass again?
We could
You
try.
follow me?
If you keep in the same position, I might be able to just cut it in. Yeah.
Okay, well, so she's just bringing it.
Okay.
These props ladies are not the same as they used to be. Thank you. I've got red wine. Oh my. Okay. No matter. No, they're not seated, just a glass in it. I'll shake anyway. Okay, Joe.
Okay.
Remember thee, I, whilst memory holds a goblet in this fair land. Friends, I give you the immortal memory of Robert Burns, an Ayrshire laddie.
My love is like a red, red rose that's newly sprung in June. My love is like the melody that's sweetly played in tune. And fair art thou, my bonny love, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas gang dry. Till all the seas gang dry, my dear, and the rocks melt with the sun. I will love thee still, my dear, while the sands of life shall run, and fare thee Fair art thou, my bonny love, so deep in love am I, and I will love thee still, my dear, till all the seas can dry.
We sleekit, coorin, timorous beastie. Oh, what a panic's in my breastie. Thou needna start a war sae hasty, wi' bickering brattle. I would be laith to rin and chase thee, wi' murdering pattle. Oh, I'm truly sorry man's dominion has broken nature's social union, and justifies that ill opinion which makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and fellow mortal. I doubt no whiles, but thou may thieve. What then? Poor beastie, thou mun live. A day my knicker a thrave's a small request. I'll get a blessing with a lave. I'll never miss it. Thy wee bit hussy to and ruin. Silly was the winds are strewn, and Nathan now to big a new one. O foggage green, and bleak December winds ensuing, baith snell and keen. Thou saw the fields laid bare and waste, and weary winter coming fast, and cosy there, beneath the blast, thou thought to dwell, till crash, the cruel coulter passed out through thy cell. Thy wee bit heap o' leaves and stibble has cost thee mony a weary nibble. Now thou's turned out, for all thy trouble, but house or hold, to thole the winter's sleety dribble, and Cranroich called. But Moosey, thou art no thy lane, improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes o' mice and men gang aft a gley, and leest not but grief and pain for promised joy. Still, thou art blessed compared with me. The present only touches thee. But och, I backward cast my ee on prospects drear, and forward, though I canna see, I guess and fear.
Blow gently, sweet afton, among thy green braes. Blow gently, I sing thee a song in thy praise. My Mary's asleep by thy murmuring stream. Flow gently, sweet afton, disturb not her dream. Thou stock dove whose echo resounds through the glen, thou wild whistling blackbird in yon thorny den, thou green crested lapwing, thy streaming forbear. I charge you, disturb not my slumbering fair. Thou stock dove whose echo resounds through the glen, The wild whistling blackbird yon thorny den, the green crested lapwing thy screaming forbear. I charge you, disturb not my slumbering fair.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and auld lang syne? For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet, for auld lang syne. We twa hae roved about the braes and pu'd the gowans fine, but we've travelled mony a weary fit sin auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet, for auld lang syne. We twa hae pedalled in the burn frae morn and sun till dine, but seas atween us braid hae roared sin auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet, for auld lang syne. And surely you'll be your pint stoup, and surely I'll be mine. We'll take a cup o' kindness yet, for auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet, for auld lang syne. And here's a hand, my trusty fear, and gie's a hand o' thine. We'll hae a recht gadolie wacht, for auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet, for auld lang syne. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne, we'll take a cup o' kindness yet, for auld lang syne. And here's to friendship, and here's to good health for us all. Slange.
I hope you enjoyed our DIY Burn supper, and thank you for watching. Beauty Theatre Club would also like to thank Corner on the Square, the British Legion, and Beauty Shinty and its associated clubs for their support and encouragement. And hopefully next year, we will all be able to drink a cup of kindness together, in person. Bye.